Hi folks, so it's release day, and I thought about how to do this recording. I thought, look, I'm not a YouTuber. There are many people covering it better than I can as a Let's Play. So I thought I'd approach this as the dev lead for you, speaking to what the team's trying to do, why we made certain decisions, as well as communicating gameplay. So first thing, you're hearing the music. The core burden of command is the tension between the men, those lives you're responsible for, and the mission, which is a moral duty to try to win in the war, take the hill. These are in tension, and so our wonderful composer Chris Scribner, one of his themes is the people, the lives, the emotional connect, a little bit like Band of Brothers. And the other more martial music is the mission. And so even in the music, we try to convey that. And of course in the portraits, we try to convey that so that you get the connection like a real commander might have to those who serve under you and who you're responsible for. All right, with that, let's go to I'm going to lead right here with a scenario which is very tactical, hasn't been seen too much, called Utweiler, historical, follows the cotton balers. This is going to be a fairly large company effort, a lot of tactical play. If that's not as much your stick, the next scenario in the broadcast will be a much more narratively focused, tactically simple one. Anyway, let's get rolling. So, scenarios. Utweiler. And you know, before we go any further, I'm not going to be an idiot. I'm going to test that the video is recording. I'm just going to be straightforward here and not do, super professional. I'll just be the dev. Give me a moment. Okay, I'm back. I think we're ready to go. So here we go. Now, these will only appear after you finish boot camp if you get the game, just to be aware, because you're not going to be ready for them before you get through boot camp. So here we go. So you can see the wonderful portrait art, Mars Kazek. One of the directions, again, the burden of command sense was, don't give us superheroes, though some of them are pretty handsome or, beautiful. Give us people who served, like my father, like perhaps your grandfather or grandmother. So that's what we tried to achieve in the portraits compared to the usual game. Again, we're always focused on that burden of command, human connection. White tape. 2nd of February, 1945. It's late war. The war is almost over in Germany. Utweiler, Germany. Snow. So, another example. Let's hear this first.
And as I said, it was cold, and I was wearing all the clothing I had. 2 sets of long johns, 2 wool uniforms, a pair of gas pants, a wool sweater, and a field jacket, and a wool scarf, and they had those wool back gloves with split leather palm, and they didn't protect your hands and didn't keep them from freezing. I had both feet frostbit. And it was not a happy situation, let me clue you right there.
And was this pretty typical of your fellow infantrymen?
Yeah. They had been...
In terms of the frostbite and things like that?
Yeah. Later on, I turned in the battalion surgeon, and he told me over 100 men in the battalion had frostbite at least as bad as I did.
So, another thing, why are we doing these videos? Obviously the human connection, but also, now, this is not the real experience, but we are trying to point at it. We have a lot of vets involved. We have John McManus, historian. I've talked to him about what is morale, what affects it. Of course, things like gunfire and your leadership affect it, but other things affect it too, like the snow and the cold, and are you getting a hot meal? These are very important to morale. So we wanted to point to the broad experience of serving. It is not glamorous. And what's that quote? War is long periods of boredom, punctuated few moments of sheer terror. So, with that, let's get in here. 15 March 1945, Utweiler, Germany. The cold seeps into your bones as you wait beneath the last of the night sky. The scent of spring, of damp earth waiting beneath the crusted snow, lies thickly in the air. Now, I'll talk about other things as a dev. So, early on, we got a famous writer, William Bernhardt, who's written novels, legal thrillers that have sold something like 20 million copies, so he kind of knows what he's doing. And he went over all our early drafts, and one of his Piece of advice to our very fine writers, Alan Geese and Paul Wing, who come from a choice of games background, check out their games there, was very concrete in the writing so that you connect to the experience. So you notice the scent of spring, of damp earth waiting. So please try to notice that too. So I'm not saying we're succeeding in all these things, but I am saying there was a lot of conscious thought all the way through to convey the burden of command, the concrete experience of what it's like to be out there, the burden for you and your men, and then sometimes the wonderful things happen as well as the bad things. Brotherly love, etc. Sacrifice for each other. Soon the sun will rise, and the U.S. Army's attack on the little German border town of Utweiler will commence, and your company will be in the lead. We're very committed to history, as you might imagine. We have a team led by Steve Lohr of wonderful volunteers who colorize our photos, so you can also get them a non-colorized version. They've worked very hard and passionately to try to get the colors right. Of course, they make mistakes sometimes, but they do try quite hard. Feel free to give us feedback where we get it wrong. We tell you where we get our sources. We tell you what we can about the actual photos. I won't go through all right now, but what's really going on? What did they experience? And one of the more powerful things you can do is play the scenario and then maybe read John McManus's book, American Courage, American Carnage, which is coming out end of the month. We're on the cover, if you can believe that, saying the book that inspired the game, the immersive game. So it's wonderful, well, not wonderful, but engaging to try it and see what happened to the real men and to the real leaders. What did they decide as opposed to you? So soon the sun will rise, the U.S. Army's attack on the little German border town of Utweiler will commence, and your company will be in the lead. Now, these are my reports. Think of it like an RPG, right? You're one of the characters, but the other characters are lieutenants in this case. Lieutenant Thompson is worried about his men getting frostbite. Lieutenant Wilson groused about how the snow will hide mines. Lieutenant Dearborn wanted a delay of 1 day. Lieutenant Stern wanted a night attack. I hate waiting. That's interesting. Well, I'm going to be very practical here. Tell me about the frostbite situation. Men with frozen fingers, there's Thompson, can't shoot. Good point. Men with frozen feet can't march. Winter introduces both problems in spades. Lieutenant Thompson's been trying to keep his men warm in ingenious ways. So have the others. But when it comes down to it, a lack of winter gear is a lack of winter gear and a plethora of Germans. Well said. Let's do one more of these and we'll plunge in. Dearborn always thinks he knows best, so maybe he's a little tempered by years of war now. He's a VMI, Virginia Military Institute graduate. Lieutenant Dearborn wanted an additional day to work his men forward, clear out the mines, well that would be nice, establish field lines to command posts. All these things sounded good, but not to battalion. No, the orders remained fixed. Go at dawn. Today, not tomorrow. Get it done. Now that is realistic. Rarely do you get what you want. You get what you're supposed to do. So, let's get going here. I hear something out there, First Sergeant Grant says. Depend on Sergeant Grant. Listen to his advice. My advice. First Sergeant Grant says and nods into the gloom. A crunch of footfalls resolves into a dark figure that trudges through the white snow towards your command post. Like your men, he's dressed in battered olive drab that is better suited to autumnal leaves and hot cider. Paper has been stuffed into his field jacket. Yep, they did that. The soggy bits all but falling out after a long night of work. Anything to keep warm. Lieutenant McNamara settles in beside you, his voice hoarse and dry. Okay, Captain. We push the line through the forest and remove the mines in it. White tape will mark the way. Rough night? How wide a lane? Does a white tape stand out against the enemies? No. Now you're going to get mouse overs that will tell you the benefits and costs. I strongly encourage you, this is playtester advice, and mine as a designer. I played a lot of game strategy. I love to min-max, to win, and beat the game. I'm not saying I'm great, but I love to try to do it. I encourage you to role play, to try to be who you would be in these situations. Try to make the pick on base what you would do, or the character you want to be, because you'll have a deeper, richer experience. Also, don't save scum, except maybe when you're learning in the boot camp. Live with the death. Live with the consequences of your decision, because they had to, and you'll feel the burden of command. But of course, if you back up every time you make a mistake, there's no burden of command. So, you do as you wish. It's your game, but that's my encouragement and the playtester's encouragement, and presumably you're here for the burden of command. Right. Rough night? How wide a lane? Does the white tape, well, that's what I'd be wondering. Does the white tape stand out against the snow? And remember, this is all historical. This is coming from the book. What happened with you getting to go in their boots, on their ground, see what you will do. You can't miss it, McNamara says. The whites don't match. God, I hope not, First Sergeant Grant remarks. Don't want the men to hustle through a minefield in a few minutes. They can't miss the lane, McNamara notes. Not unless your greenies are blind. Greenies as in, non-veterans. But we're a mix. We've had some losses, so we have a fair amount of green, if I recall the scenario. I've seen some of it. I haven't played through it fully. Greenies. He means your most recent... here we go. Draft of replacements. Recent engagement. Now think of it if that was you, or your brother, or your son. Recent engagements, or your father. Recent engagements have been brutal, and the majority of your riflemen have been with the company less than a month, if that. Clear your men on. Escort his men out of the way while it's still dark. Yes, and here's why they've had these losses. Clear your men out. Select a mindset. Now, mindsets are how... This is a role-playing game. So a little bit like Disco Elysium. You will pick from your thought cabinet your style of leadership. Are you zealous like Lieutenant Spears, the guy in Band of Brothers who would run across in front of enemy fire and run back and seemed unfazed and freaked out the Germans and got away with it? Are you cautious? Are you compassionate? Are you doctrinaire? And these are not just niceties for the fiction, though you will experience and decide them through the fiction and through things we call crucibles, but they will ultimately be a light, not quite skill tree because they don't branch, but a choice tree of what abilities you want. Cautious people might get, say, some scouting abilities, whereas zealous, as you might imagine, are good at assault. Clear your men out. Escort his men out of the way while it's still dark. I'm just going to keep us going here. Doctrine, which I kind of like anyway. I figure the Army has a reason for its doctrines. You give the order, and McNamara quickly rounds up his men. As the dregs of night seep away, a dozen weary engineers with frost-covered entrenching tools shuffle past. Remember those concrete details? The first gleam of dawn arrives as the last of them depart. The attack can commence. Clear the town and hold it. The mission: secure the town of Utweiler. The men suffer no more than the light casualties. Now at the beginning we kind of knew intuitively we wanted to cover the burden command, but what did that mean analytically? After a lot of cycles and a lot of thinking and reading and playing and talking, I think we got a pretty clear picture. The burden of command is the tension between the mission and the men. Both of these are victory conditions here. You can win in one way and lose in the other. And our goal was not only to reflect the burden of command, but to motivate you as a player, who are always taught to win, to take the hill, to sometimes prioritize the men, because sometimes real leaders withdraw. You never retreat, the military tells me. Our vets in the team. You withdraw, because that might be the right decision for the men. So we wanted to give you ways a gamer where you could win, even if you withdrew. The men. But of course you'd love to pull up both, wouldn't you? And I suspect the men would like that, and the superiors would certainly like the mission success. One more little anecdote. I am going to get to the map, because I think it's the next screen. Early playtester is like, oh, I'm definitely going to withdraw. I want to protect the men. And then one of our leads, Steve Overton, who's done a lot of combat mission and was an Army engineer, said, well, you're going to have to talk to the colonel if you do this later. Go to his tent. And then the playtester started to rethink, well, maybe I will stay around a little while. Of course, if you stay around a little bit longer than you should, the Sergeant Grant and the men will be looking at you, or Sergeant Grant might have a few things to imply or say. So, it's not an easy job. Here we are. So, it's winter. We can see the small town we're supposed to capture. These little flags are our objectives. Minefields you can see marked, except over here there's one that's different. Gap in the mines. That's presumably where the white tags are. Now, I tend to like to play it this way because it feels more, realistic, but you can turn on bases, so you can see where all your troops are more easily. Tree up to you. Let's, I think for you as a viewer, I'll keep the bases on for now, even though I personally kind of like not to. Okay, right. So, your commands. Your command is organized. This is you. You can actually customize this guy when you want. He's already got a mindset, doctrinaire. You can see there what it can do. We won't go through all that today. You can change the name. He's captain unnamed right now. How about, I don't know. What should I do? I think I'll do this later. Oh, yes. They're not allowing me edit in this scenario. Well, fine. I won't. But in the campaign, you can. Okay. So, we will be Captain Unnamed today. Very powerful. Thompson, Wilson, Dearborn, Stern. I've got my corps commanders. Each of them in charge of a platoon. A platoon is 3 squads, roughly. Each squad is about 12 guys, depending on losses. And you can't do everything at once. So as you'll see here, there's a lot of, we try to reflect. You're a leader, right? In the Army, there's command and control. You can't be everywhere doing everything at once. So a given leader's in charge of his platoon doesn't get to order. Dearborn doesn't get to order Thompson's people around. You as captain get a little more flexibility. So now this guy here, this is probably McNamara. Yes, lieutenant engineer. He's the guy who cleared the mines. And I naturally want to go down the mines. I think, well, I feel slightly ruthless, honestly. He cleared the mines. Let's have him go through and make sure everything's okay. But I will steer him into these woods, so he's out of the way of the troops coming through. These shields here indicate cover. As you might expect, woods are a little better cover than open. And these are how far you can reach. And green is how far you can see. Line of sight. By the way, you can click anywhere for line of sight. I think quite a nice tool, after a lot of feedback. But it's pretty slick, I think. And we got a formal line of sight down here if you want to get more information on the why and how. But you can select an enemy, you can select a hex, you can select the unit, and you can see the line of sight. So we tried to make it easy. Okay, so he's going to go first. Let's just do it. There's the tape. Well, that's good. All right, all groovy. Let's move them in forward. So who have we got over here? Here's me. But I want to pick a group with their particular platoons. So, oh yes, okay. So we committed. I think we can. Let's see if we can. Normally, you commit to a given leader who leads the round. Might be different in this case because he's just a solo lieutenant. So you can see the dashed lines indicate what units belong to this, right? These 3 you can also see over here. You can click on them to move, but let's get moving here. Right. Oh, yes. Okay, so I guess he is leading around. Oh, there he is. He is leading around. I have something over here that's watching my video, so I couldn't see it as easily. Let me move that away. So let's pass around, actually. Sort of silly here. It's just one guy, but the game works by leader rounds, and he's a leader, so we have to wait around. See if the Germans want to do anything. Okay, another little glitch here. I'm going to pause because I realized I didn't turn on the AI as a dev to get it running. So, or I should have. I'm going to keep playing. I'm pretty sure it is running here, but we can do that as a devs. So you can see I'm natural. I'm not working from a script. All right, here we go. Wilson. Well, let's do it. I would like to get into some cover rather than just run in the open. I think the woods are right here though, so. Let's do this one at a time. He'll just sort of scope it. Though I'd like Wilson with him because he can push him a little further. Well, let's get somebody forward. Okay, there we go. All good so far. I think we should move forward, right? I don't like ending in the open. That's usually a bad mistake. So let's do a little bit of settled here. Let's take Wilson. You see the dots? These are his action points. He can spend them on moving, shooting, but most importantly, it's a leadership RPG. Each order, each green dot, each action point has to be used to activate a unit. So you can see he's got a gray one because we just sent one of his units. Now I'm just going to select him, double click again, bring him over to this guy. Let's see.
No sightseeing.
Go Wilson. And you can see I've got them selected. Now I'm going to do a minor trick here. I'm going to bolster. And that will, bolster is probably the most important thing you do in the game. It improves their shooting and winning initiative in fights. It improves their movement, which is what I'm kind of looking for here. And it improves their passing morale checks. Now, if you mouse over, you get a preview. Yeah, this is good. I can go quite a bit further doing this. I like that. So let's bolster.
I'm counting on you, boys.
Yeah, thank you, Wilson. You're right. But, he's running out of orders now. He's giving up some of his command and control to get this done. Luckily, he's got 4 stars. He's got 5 orders. When you start the game, your lieutenants have, if I can recall correctly, 4 orders. 3 squads, active each one order for a little discretion, or leave somebody behind. That was not chance. That was the evil dev. Right, So I can waypoint how I get there. I like this because it's just giving me the choice going straight through the woods. Now I could actually, I like this because I get to go, seems to be working. I'm going to take a risk here because I want to get in the woods and I can have some eyes on the woods. I could be a little more cautious, but let's go.
Keep up.
Oh, crap.
Minefield.
Why aren't the mines cleared? Oh, now I'm... Clever me. Okay, exposed. Now I just did the worst thing you can possibly do, which was run in the open in front of an enemy, get surprised. That, from books like, we have an advisor on battlefield psychology and tactics, Dermot Rooney, and he basically argues that is when you take your casualties. There's some other articles on this front. Not when you're hunkered down and undercover and people are firing at you, but when you're in the open and you're surprised. So I just got somebody wounded, let's hope not killed, because of my eagerness to get an extra hex. What about the white tape? Screams echo out, as does a lonesome call from a medic. That fucking engineer, First Sergeant Grant says as he unlimbers his carbine. The mines are cleared? Really? Let me walk him to the road, Captain. Please. I think our sergeant is going to have a few things to say to Lieutenant Engineer McNamara. Me first. Rank hath privileges. Germans mind it. So you can see it's going to affect your style. The Germans mind it again, or something. The mines must come first. He'll run. He knows what's coming. Yeah, maybe. Well, look, I'm Doctrine Guy. I'm trying to roleplay here, right? Maybe, but I could certainly see from roleplaying I might want to go back and give my 2 cents. But I'm Doctrine. I'm staying focused on the mission. We're going to go with the mines. I mean, in the sense of let's keep working this problem. Here's the actual account. We sent archivists into the National Archives to mirror what the cotton balers experience. We have photos sometimes never seen before, except maybe by historians, and reports like this, which we read to try to understand what had happened concretely. All right, mines must come first. You can see some of the Germans were, oh my gosh. The Germans are organized by platoons. You can see their iconography. Actually, that's bad. I see 3. You see these little insignia? These are same platoon or not. And we're getting a little advantage here, a little unrealism. We really wouldn't know they're different platoons, but they're limited. It is a game. We wanted to not just give full fog of war completely. It's just we're trying to connect to a larger audience, so we make some compromises here. You will be limited on your reports on these troops. What we can see here, though, based on presumably their firing or their motion or their crouching down, is these are not high quality troops. They're yellow. You see the yellow bar? 3 colors, like a stoplight: green, yellow, red. You want to get them to red, then they're really useless. They're not green. So they're sort of mediocre is what I'm taking away here. But look at me. Why am I yellow? I was green, because of course I've taken casualties and taken fire. You can see 2 casualties are red, and also some suppression. So screwed the pooch here. I'm going to have to rally these guys at some point. Now, real war chaos happens. Friction happens. Things start to become disorganized, and Wilson has gotten his units a little disorganized. And he already moved one of them over here. He moved one over here. Let's check his troops again. And where's his last guy? He's got, oh, it's interesting. It looks like he's got a bazooka team. Where is his 3rd squad? Okay, there's that one. I see, it's back in there. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, no, that's Dearborn. Hold on. Okay, let me get him again. This is a pretty dense map, so it's a little easy to lose track. Yes? Okay, that's Wilson. Right, I'm sorry, I'm getting myself confused. Okay, so Wilson, right, and I see. Okay, so let's move. And Dearborn's got his. We could do Dearborn next time. I don't know that I want the bazooka team up. Ah, here's my last squad. I see with the captain. Let's get them up. But I have to be careful here. I can't get to the woods. Now I'm going to be a little subtle here. Where do these guys fire? Let's use that line of sight. Ah, they can't fire down the corridor here. So I can actually get up there somewhat safely. Now I don't want to get my captain up. I'm going to keep him as reserve, kind of, to use as needed, not get him pinned down. So I'm going to bolster one of Wilson's men. The captain is allowed to get involved in a given leader round. Even though it's Wilson's round, he's allowed to get involved because he's a captain, kind of your kingpin. But he's not going to go on this this going forward. He's just going to help Wilson, so Wilson doesn't have to spend all his orders. Get a troop forward. See, just leave him behind, Captain Unnamed. Okay, I should be safe unless some German reveals itself. You never know. Well, we don't really have a choice. Bastard. Now he's spent. He got used up. Probably took a bit of morale. Took a casualty. Man. Not going well so far. So this is Wilson right here. Another way to look, actually, not all the little dots, is look for the claw icon. You can customize it. So now, yeah, that helps me. I don't play as often as I'd like, so I have to remind myself of things. So you can see, yes, right. So the claw group, you can customize that. Yeah, that really helped me visually. Now I'm really getting it, right? Here's Wilson's platoon. Over here, you can see all the bulls. There's Dearborn's platoon. Yes, I get it now. Stern back with the weapons team. Maybe I should have committed to this corridor, but there's probably just going to be more mines. As I recall, this was the only quote-unquote cleared area. Man, I want to go back and get that lieutenant piece of my mine. But I don't have a choice. I've got things to get going here. Wilson's used up. I have one more squad of his. He's out of command. I could use the captain here, so I'm going to use another little trick because I need to get positioned. So I'm going to do a take command. Let's see. Oh, I see. He's already been oh, I forgot. He's been activated. Once activated, I don't have to spend any more orders, which is nice, right? So you spend one order, and then the unit will keep doing its own things. You only give it the general commands once. So I don't have to pay again. Wilson already paid for him. Yeah, let's get him in these woods. It's good cover. I can get some eyes on the enemy. Maybe I can put a little fire down. How many orders do I have left? 2. Good. This seems. Oh yeah, this is a pretty high quality unit. Oh yeah. God dang it! I forgot the mines there. Crap. Okay, that was my responsibility. I was told where the mines were. But I didn't take too bad there, and I didn't take any casualties. The yellow means I can put some fire down. I don't have a leader with me to bolster to make it better, but the projection here, you look at the green and the red at the bottom, and you can also sort of see it summarized at the top. It's projecting I'm probably going to win. Why? In a nutshell, this is a psychology battlefield. It's all about morale, which is sort of a representation not only of their willingness to fight, but their quality, their proficiency, their experience. And these are, what, 4-star units? They're very experienced. 5's maximum. So he's green versus red. So he should win this. So let's beat up this enemy. Oh, he doesn't know we're here because we're in the woods. There's a little icon you can track on yourself. There's a little eye there that tells you if you're. Fog war is very important in this game. Remember, surprise for casualties. So this is great. I'm going to pound him. He's not expecting to fire. They're probably sitting there watching my other men. And good. Finally, something going my way. Yes. Okay, good. Ancient rabbits. Now, we don't know how much suppression they took, but I'm looking to see if they go red. Let's see what happened. Yes! Spent now. And as their morale goes down, true for your troops, orders go down, right? Because it's hard to organize them. They're pinned. So these guys are ineffective. Gray bar, red morale. I've removed one threat. Obviously, we've got some other guys over here. I could use the captain right now, say take over Dearborn's troops, even though Wilson's round. But I've got a guy in woods, so he's okay. They're probably hugging the ground. Interesting combat model thing. As you suppress, like the enemy, like those guys in red, what are they doing? They're down behind the wall, man, or the hedge. They don't want to die. So they're now harder to hit and cause casualties. Bang, 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 keep shooting is not going to work. You're going to have to get across the field and assault them. Going to be a little challenging with these other guys over here. So the name of the game, 4Fs. Like the Brothers in Arms, which their advisor, executive producer, Colonel John Annell advised us. They try to represent this, find the enemy, fix them with fire. That means pin them down, flank them, and finish them. So we've got a group of Germans we've got to deal with before we advance. Wilson, we're going to pass. See if the Germans do anything. Something's happening. Oh, I don't think they were there before. What are they doing? Did they move up? Ooh, there. Oh, look at them. Wow. Somebody failed a morale check. Their leaders are doing things. So they're bringing some troops up. Don't like that. I got to remember that. In the house over here, there's some Germans now. Hank Stouffer, he's a Dutch vet and the key lead designer here. And Alan Geese, the writer. Interesting, guys. I'm getting engaged here. I'm not just saying that for the audience. For me, I am engaged. It's fun to play as opposed to fix bugs and crap. So, I'm ready to command. To me, the obvious thing here, bring Dearborn up into the woods, start to suppress this resistance. So, Dearborn, we're going to get your men rolling. Note the yellow highlight here. It's a little hard to see in the woods. That means the enemy can fire in that hex. So I'm going to be a little sophisticated here. There's an action called creep. They only move one hex, but they're hard to hit because they're creeping, right? They're trying not to be seen. And sometimes you can kind of sneak up this way. A little bit like you might see, was he creeping? Probably wasn't creeping, but Winters was over in the D-Day assault, trying to sneak around the trenches, but at a pace. Anyway, creep. There is an advanced form of creep called infiltrate, where you can move 2 hexes if you have, I think it's a cunning mindset. So, let's creep here. I've got 3 orders. That tells me I can get there and have an order left. And rifle squads are your maneuver and fire unit. So they're going to maneuver up with a creep, so to be safe, I hope. It's not guaranteed. And then they'll be able to fire. Now I could use my captain, pay for this, but I think, Dearborn's capable. Damn it. Did I actually hit the creep button? After all that talk, I'm not 100% sure I did. But it doesn't always work, but it should have worked. That's interesting. Well, somebody can tell me later if I did or didn't. Let's try with this guy. Oh, I don't need to here. Now, next problem. Oh, no, stupid me. Let's not advance anybody yet. I've got this unit. Looks like it's still in pretty good order because it's experienced. Good. Green. It's nice to have experienced men. If these were in Morocco, you'd find your men start to fall apart. They do morale checks. They want to advance. They'll start to maybe not obey your orders unless you rally. It's messy and chaotic. With experienced troops like this, it's a lot easier. So you'll be proud how your men evolve and your leaders. Okay, these guys are in pretty good shape. This would be pointless, bang, 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 you're dead, because they're hunkering down. I'm not going to do much with them. This unit, on the other hand, ooh, a surprise. This guy won't. Actually, he's out of my line of sight, isn't he? So let's work these guys over. Good. I'm starting to feel a little better about things. Yeah, I bet you go red. There they are. Go Dearborn. All right. Good, they got some experience out of that, because they were effective. And red, we like that. Are they out of orders? They're not out of orders, but their fire should be pretty ineffective. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? You can customize the photos. We've got 3rd squad, 2nd platoon. Is it the 2nd platoon? 3rd platoon. Dearborn's platoon. Yeah, 3rd platoon. You can see it up on the left. Now, I could just advance here. That'll take 1 order and another one to advance. I could bring Dearborn up to bolster him, but he's going to need to bring these guys forward. I'm just going to pay the price here and move forward. Now, you notice the leaders aren't in the right places. To do things like bolster and rallying direct fire, you become less effective. So where you place your leader, where you risk him, very important to quality play. Okay, it took 2 orders. Damn, you know what? The woods. I don't think I took into account the cost of moving in the woods. So, no, I still wonder about that. Why'd that cost me 2 orders? That's strange. Probably should look at that later. Okay. Oh, I remember now. Of course, I'm being an idiot. It's 2 orders to move. So no, it should be 1 order. Let's try again here. Let me, I'm a little rusty, as you can see. Let me move them forward. But I'm not, I could use Dearborn here. How much? He's got 3 orders left. Gonna have to just go slowly here. Why am I spending 2 orders every time out of my 3? Something's odd here. I'll have to look at this later. Let's just go with it. What am I forgetting? I wonder if I've got a creep still sort of evaluating. Anyway, let's bolster. Oh, I could recon by fire. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's bolster. Ooh. Okay. My problem here is I'm just going to be stuck behind. I could risk going across the... I'm tempted to go across, and yet, knowing the designers and having been whacked once... Oh, I know. I bet it's the mines are costing me. That's why it's all getting expensive in here. They're making me pay to creep through the mines. Alan, that could probably be made a little more clear, because I was wondering... I think I don't want to go across the open. That just feels like being stupid. I'm going to have to be a little patient here and just bring Dearborn up with the reserve. Yes, see, you move more normally here. I was paying through moving through 9. So that's clever, guys. I think that's good realism, but it probably needs a bark, or maybe I missed the bark explaining it. Knowing them, they probably did put a bark in. All right, I pretty much burned up Dearborn. They're all spent, but pretty good place right now. We've got pretty beaten up, not very high quality resistance, and I think I can pass. Got to keep this advance going. Headquarters, how many turns do I have? Oh, I got plenty of turns. All right, I'm not going to stress here. Good. Okay, back again. Dearborn's kind of done. Let's bring up Thompson. I assume that's Thompson. What's his icon? Ah, yes, the sort of classic bars like the cotton balers themselves. Though this is just a platoon. And this is Stern. I'm predicting, yes, different. That's weapons. Be nice to get them up. I wonder if they'd have line of sight here. No, damn. Line of sight here? Yes. I could bolster him with Stern. Where's Stern? Oh, he's not in position. Crap. And I can't forget, I've got a minefield up there. Oh boy, I don't know. I don't want to send the men through the minefield. I've got 35 turns. I think I'm being overly eager here. Very skeptical about crossing that boundary. I think I should be systematic. I'm going to get my weapons crew into position. It's going to take a little effort. It's very hard to move machine guns, as you might imagine. A lugging machine gun slows you down. This will probably use them up for this turn. So it'll be Stern's round. Let's see what's happening here. I should be safe around here. Careful with the barrel. Yes, 2 of his 3. He's got 1 more, but that's not enough to move. He is in position. Let's change his facing. It doesn't look like he has any targets, but, you know, let's be coherent here. He's done. I'm doing Sterns. Let's bring... Okay, these guys. He's got another machine gun here. Yeah, I'd love to get them up. You know, the other thing you can do is you can move... I'm just thinking, leader has a spotter, meaning they can call in artillery. Yes, I have some artillery. Probably our own mortars. Yes. So I could throw some smoke. That's interesting. I could throw some fire and suppress them remotely. But I'd have to get Stern up so he can spot. Or the captain. I probably can act as the spotter. Is that true? Yes, I can do it. Ooh, now I'm starting to feel like I'm playing. Yes, where can I get? I bet this is a good spotting position. Yes, on that guy. What I really want is a spotting this. Let's see. Where can I go to get that? That's tricky. I occupied some of the places. But, yeah. You have to be careful on placement. I didn't think it out quite enough. I can't quite get in position to spot. Boy, I'd really like to spot and bring some artillery down. I could get down here. What's this like? Oh, just have an angle. Interesting. How hard is that for me to get? Probably pretty challenging. I like the angle though. Though I'm struggling here. Tension. On the one hand, I'd love to get him in spotting position for the artillery. On the other hand, I'm concerned that I'll just be out of position. Who knows? There might be Germans down there. No, I think that's a little too ambitious. So what I'm going to be starting to do now is I'll just bring him up with Dearborn's men, get ready to be a spotter. I can go quite far here being a single guy. Yes, let's get me up. This doesn't take away from... why don't I have anybody? Yeah, I should have. There we go. Good. Go captain. He can always do it. Every turn, he's always available. You know, I can go back to Stern being in charge, right? But even on Stern's turn, I'm the captain. Okay. I can get up there and spot. I'll take fire. I'm in the woods. I am moving. How many orders I got? I got quite a few orders. I think I'll move up slowly. I'm trying. I played the air scenario, and boy, I just screwed the pooch a lot. I'm trying to be a little more cautious, right? You got a long war here. So I'm going to burn an order. Move forward. I should be pretty safe right here. Now I'm going to creep. Okay. Hopefully get away with it. Yes. But it took 2 orders. I forgot to do that. You've got to really plan in this game. You've got to pay attention to how many orders. I just used up my captain. He's in a great spotting position. But he's used up. Is he seen? No. The hiding icon. As far as I know, I haven't seen. So the creeping helped. I got in there. I'm ready to call down fire. But luckily, even though I ran orders, I'm not spent. Okay, this is kind of a setup turn. Let's keep going with Stern's move. Problem is, I'm running out of position with all the men I put forward. But let's bolster so I get a good move out of this. See, always use those bolsters. Look how much further I can put these guys. Tempted to put him here. Who can fire on this? It's a little crazy to put him in the open, but he's against suppressed. I'm going to be aggressive here. There was no fire otherwise. Gutsy. Probably stupid. Probably vets are laughing at me, but I feel, given what I know of the enemy and so forth, it's a reasonable risk. Okay.
No stragglers.
One of my goals as a designer was always to give you these tensions. I want to take risk. I've got limited orders. What can I do? What's the best choice here? Oh, he's got doctrine well rehearsed. That's interesting. I'd have to go check. And he rallied. Wow, I got some free benefit there, or the writers tried to give me something. I'll take that. I think when they get through that's a representation of having gotten through the mines and you get a benefit. Some of the times we're not always obvious. No, but this worked. This worked. I got a machine gun forward. Really good. And machine guns are excel at firing, as you might imagine, not only volume of fire to suppress the enemy, but fire more than once. Unlike a rifle squad that's used up, takes 2 orders typically and fires. Except this guy's already beaten up. Tempted. Let me see. How much further can... I'm going to burn him up, though, if I go any further. I'm kind of tempted to go here, but that feels super stupid. I'll just end up being surprised by Germans over here or something. No, let's just whack him. Let's do it proper. I'm going to not bolster here because these guys are already hurting. In fact, arguably, I shouldn't even fire. I mean, I've only got... No. I've only got 1 order left for the machine gun. So I think smarter is to keep these for op fire, which is opportunity fire. If the enemy moves or does something clever, I can respond. So you sort of want to preserve your orders not only for offense but for defense. The Germans can be a little aggressive sometimes, surprising. I think these guys look a little weak, so I'm not too worried. But this is a good move. I'm going to stay here. I've got a leader on a machine gun. He's got a good field of fire. And anything tries to be clever with me over here, they're going to get whacked as opposed to me. Finally, I've got my mortar. Now, I don't need to move... Oh, sorry, that's a bazooka, actually. And that's Wilson. Let's go back to looking at the icons. That's very helpful. Okay, they're the upward arrows. So, what do I got left for stern? Okay, I've got my mortar back here. Now, you don't need the mortar seeing things. Your leaders can spot. So, he's okay there. Have I got any more of his team? Yes. No, sorry, I keep looking at that and getting confused. Let me look at the iconography. Yes. Okay. I've got somebody left here with 1 order, 1 order. It looks like my mortar, I don't need to move forward. I think I'm going to stop here. This is good. I've got myself positioned. I'm feeling pretty good for next turn. Got to be patient in war. You run around, play superhero, and you die, like I did a little bit early on. So I'm trying to be doctrinaire now. Okay, looks like the Germans are thinking a little bit. We know that there's some kind of reinforcement there. The guy, oh, he's yellow. That's good to see. He's not so impressive either. Okay, whatever he is not too threatening. So what have I got left? Looks like I've got Thompson left. Where are you, Thompson? Okay, let's see. What have you got left? Let's see where your squads are. Oh, I see you're back here. And you're the, yeah, I remember you, the cotton baler symbols. Let's just get these guys going forward. I could come down here. It's really getting channeled. I'm not keen on channeling my attack. I'm going to have to risk the mines here. They did, by the way. There's sections in American Courage, American Carnage where they would move the minefields during a mission. Let's take some risks. He's going to block things. I'm not careful here. I'd like to get people move forward somewhat aggressively. I've got a bazooka back there with me. Let's get Thompson up. I don't care about the bazooka too much right now. And he can bolster these guys and get them moving.
Don't you dare slow down.
That sounds like Thompson. Okay, bolster. That should pump up my movement. Good. Good.
Go.
Okay, yep. Ooh, I have to run down the open here. Don't like that. I think we'll be a little more cautious. Nope. Do I want Thompson forward? Yeah, I want Thompson forward. He can still command the remote guys, and I want to have him available in case something unpleasant happens. Of course, he could become a casualty. Tension again, right? Lead from the back. A lot of command and control. Looks like I took a little suppression there. Was there some minefields there? I wonder what that was about. But, you know, you got to lead from the front sometimes to be effective. Let's bring forward. Don't know that I can be terribly clever now with the rest of them. The woods are really slowing me down. Okay. Good one order. That's more normal. Yeah, those earlier order losses have got to have been minefields. Okay. Get him forward again. Snow slows you down. Normally you'll move about 3 hexes, but it's just slow in the woods. But we are bringing ourselves up coherently here. Mine check. Yep. I should not move linearly across the map. I'm going to hit by the mines. Still very concerned about getting across that open. Just going to stay cautious. You learn pretty early in this game. Like, you see the open fields? Danger, Will Robinson. Real commanders, when they became more experienced, would learn to read the terrain. Now, I'm not going to go up here and do a broad advance because I'm reminding myself mines. So we'll try to find a way through, and everybody will channel through that. Feel pretty good about that. All right. Starting to feel coherent here. See what the Germans want to do. My guess is not too much. I'm probably going to pass the turn here now. If you pass twice and the Germans pass, they have nothing more to do, then the turn is done. Yeah, I'm looking at my leaders at the top, my sort of command display. I've pretty much spent my wad here. Yep, there's a new turn. Oh, I need to widen that. Okay, all mines. What's the call, Captain? First Sergeant Grant. They've got mines and then some. We just can't sweat it. Well, Grant, you need to keep up a little bit here, buddy. I've been moving everybody forward. There are limits to how much the fiction can track. Hey, but look at that. That's pretty much what I did. Putting your machine gun out in the snow. That looks like a 50 cal. Okay, I'd like to have one of those. Not an expert, but that's my guess. Okay, we need to clear the mines. Adopt strategy. There's just an insignificant town. We have orders. Attack. I think let's just stay. You know, we've done this. We've been doing this a long time in the war. I'm not going to get too worked up. Yeah, just like all the rest, First Sergeant. Grant says, is it worth it to take? Can't say. But, sorry, I'm going to move my little controls here. Hang with me for a moment. But we're waiting on you, Captain. What's next? Okay, let's see what is next. Thank you. That helps seeing a minefield again. Okay. Yeah, I can see it slowed me down there. Or maybe the approach to the minefield slowed me down. Alan, you should probably check. Make sure we're not taking orders off too early there for the minefields. All right, now, again, after being schooled in the simple red beach I did in another play for today, you'll see later, I'm trying to plan and think. I'm trying to entertain you guys, but, you know, I'm going to die horribly here, which you'd probably enjoy if I just race along. So I got to have a little bit of plan. I'm lined up. I'm trying to play the 4 Fs. They don't seem to have good leaders there. I don't see any red guys being reclaimed over here. That's good. I've got one real threat here. Oh, of course. First things first. Let's bring down some fire. All right. Yeah, this is going to be good. All right. So I could put smoke, but I want to pound these guys, suppress them so they're just not effective. Armchair General played this, by the way, with me sort of accompanying, so I have had a little cheating here. He was using smoke, which is an interesting approach, to sort of long-term make it hard for them to fire, but I'm going to go for a more direct approach. The downside of my suppressing through fire with this is if they have a leader, they could rally these guys. Oh, very nice art animation, Sergey, with the snow. That looks good. Always like seeing that. Gain some experience. This is a role-playing game. Your units and your leaders will gain experience. Your leaders also trust for things like morale checks and bolstering and so forth. Good. They're red. Everybody's red here. Now, here's where, you know what, hits the fan. At some point, I got assault. Oh, these guys are green now. That makes me think they've got a leader. Because they were yellow before. They've got a line of sight there. They can see the building in wood. So if I go up here, what's going to happen? I'm going to go in those buildings, so I'm successful in assault, and then they're going to whack me. Can I see him? Damn, I can't see him. Could I see from here? Yes. Okay. And he has fire, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he has fire. Okay, I've got to creep again. I hate using the orders up, but it's really important I not get the captain whacked. Okay, so let's creep. I'm going to get over here, get a line of sight. You know, I should have checked if I had more mortars before I got clever here. Always something to forget. Great, Luke. Good call there. But wait. Can I see them? Yes. Just got range. Okay, this will work. Bolster, captain. This is good. I'm going to get their rear defense. Very happy about
No
this.
speeches today. Get this done.
Yes, yes. They don't seem to have good leadership. If they have a hidden leader, I could get surprised here. But I've got good troops with a good leader. Me, if I may say so. And I mean in terms of the quality of the sprite, not me, Luke. And let's whack these guys. Feeling good now.
Open fire.
That's right. Looking bad for you guys, and you were surprised. Oh, yeah, they took some couch. Oh, they did have a leader there. That's why they went green. Of course. You know, you can kind of detect their effects. Oh, now he's still together. He could rally these guys, but right now I've got the initiative. I've got everybody red I'm aware of. I'm in a position to assault. I haven't committed to a leader yet. Got Wilson with yellow. I'm trying to figure out who I'm going to assault with here. Dearborn. Little back. Tricky, tricky, tricky. These guys trying to assault. Maybe with a bolster they can pull it off, but they're not in great shape. And then if I commit, I'm kind of done for the round. But on the other hand, see all this struggle between move and fire and assault. I've got them suppressed. I've got them on the back foot. Not too worried about taking fire here. I am worried about using up orders. And if I'm close to minefields, well, I pay 2 orders here. So I could use, let's see, I've got 3 orders. I move 1 forward. Hopefully I have 2. Even worst case, I lose 2 because some, scripted minefield effect. Still got 1 left, enough for an assault. All right. I think we're going to use Dearborn. Dearborn, you're leading this assault. We're going to take these guys out. I'm not just fake enthusiasm. I'm really quite enjoying it. God damn it. That was the minefield was. See, here's my problem. I keep playing it like a normal assault and forgetting the minefield. Maybe we should just leave those flags up all the time. Alan. Not too bad. These guys are very experienced. They can handle casualty, but they're not going to be happy with me later. Okay, I can still do an assault here. It's an experienced unit. I'd love to have a leader up here, but pretty good chance they're going to pass a morale check. But this is my last order. If I blow this, I don't want to blow this. I really need to get over there. That must be slowing me down here. Oh, I know. It's the unit I'm with. I can't get there, right? You have to watch that, right? I had both selected. Easy to miss. So, of course, I can't get into that hex because they're... And, it sucks being a dev. You're always seeing improvements. It'd be nice to put a little message over that saying both can't get stacking. But I'll just have to notice. Okay. So, yeah. I'm feeling good about this. Bring them up. Dear Morton, you're going to do this. Show us your quality, man. It's only 1 order here. Oh, my God. What's going on? Oh, the Germans. They've just called artillery in on me. Stress over there. They know I'm moving. Oh, God. Crap. All right, now I'm feeling the... I'm feeling the... Oh, shit. Excuse me. Damn it. They've got me zeroed in. Well, one thing I really want to do is I'd love to kill their spotters so they can't keep doing this to me. I'm glad I'm in the woods. So actually, woods with mortars can be bad because they break the branches and the branches splinter. And so it's not necessarily good to be in woods with artillery fire. Don't know if I emphasize that too much for mortars, but definitely true for other types. Okay, this is big now. I've got a unit. I wish I had a few more orders. I have a trick coming for that. I'll show you in a moment. But I've got 1 order. I'm going to bolster. I really need this to go. They're going to do a morale check to see if they want potential bayonets in the stomach. They're good men. They've got good experience, so they're a little suppressed. And they've got a good leader going with them who's got good trust. Well, decent trust. He's got a heart. So they're probably going to pass the toughest morale check in the game assault. Let's do it. Okay. Oh, fool. Nope. Not bolster, idiot. I'm getting a little excited here. Let's do the assault. Okay, assault. Red marks assault. I can reach it. I was thinking if I should go the flank or something. I'm a little worried what might be in the flank. I'm going to go right in the middle of it. Here we go. Crossing the field. Come on, men.
Again, by God, again. Gentlemen, prepare to advance.
You can hear that Virginia Southern accent. I think he did a pretty good job, honestly. Ooh, I got an achievement. John, that's cool. John Strong and Alan worked really hard on. We have like 80 achievements in. We've pushed ourselves pretty hard as a small team. There are a lot of boxes that are expected these days to check for a game, but we did get the achievements done in the end, so that's cool. I'll have to check what achievement I got later. Right. I got there. I got distracted by your achievement, John. I got to keep my focus on the game. I took him out. The assault succeeded. That's good. Now, I'm in the middle of the Germans, and I just uncovered another German here. Yellow, thank God. Yeah, good dilemma. Oh, there's a German leader over here. Ooh, I'd love to take him out. He's out in it. What are you doing out in the open, man? That's really weird. I don't know why the AI did that. Maybe he just got stuck or he didn't realize he was at risk. Yeah, well, he didn't know we were there, perhaps, and he was moving somewhere. Tempted to go get him, but I don't like being out in the open there. Now, here's my problem. This unit's done. So, however, in theory, I should be able to press. May I get my both selected? Dearborn, you're still going, right? Yes. Okay, this is, yes, cool. So, I had to select the leader, not the spent unit that can't do anything gray, right? Select the leader. Can't have a spent, unspent. Selected. I'm going to press. This is a great command. What press does is it gives them an order, right? Freebie. But it's not free. You can only do this once. Pressing a man, you're exhausting them, and they're going to have to rest, which is basically do nothing for a turn, or say rally, and you get it back. But now is the time. Press. Yes. Good, 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 good. Okay. Dearborn's done, which is unfortunate. But these guys are active again. They're good. They're still... Ooh, they're taking a little more suppression, probably in the assault. I don't know. We're going to find out. We may fail this morale check. I can't get there. I guess it's too far away, so that makes it pretty easy. I'm tempted to go get the leader. Very tempted. Oh my gosh, more Germans over here. Yellow. So they've got a... Wow. Well, I also want to stay in a cover, so if I take this assault successfully, I've got some cover. Please pass this. Come on. Oh, flanking morale boost. Yes, I forgot about that. I'm on their flank. And so that actually did you guys feedback, you know, to help morale check, especially in the boot camp tutorial. People got frustrated when their green troops didn't want to die. So we did introduce one more thing that Dermot Rooney, our advisor I mentioned earlier, said was legitimate, which is if you're on the flank, kind of like Chancellorsville when Stonewall Jackson got on the flank of the Union. That's great for your morale, sucks for the enemy. So I'm likely to pass this because of the flanking morale. And that circle in the middle means high probability. Cool. So, okay, we've got about 5 more minutes, man. I'm having a good time. Hope you guys are. I guess it's a good sign that the dev enjoys playing their game. I really want to do a campaign. But let's keep going. I'm not sure I'm going to get further, but I encourage you guys to play this even if you get into the campaign. Some very interesting things happen in this. So, this is one of our most challenging, though not yet, I think. Maybe that back end enemies. Yes! Prisoners are taken. They aren't... Oh, Jesus. They aren't much to look at. These must be the young boys and old men that these guys up in S2 are all about. Grant remarks as the glum and shivering gray-clad soldiers are escorted past. Nice to finally meet them. Well, in the sense of combat. Look at this poor kid. I'm father of 4, so this hits home. This is what I like about this game, right? Here I'm getting all excited. Maybe I'm winning the game. Oh, look at me. I'm doing cool things. And then, bam. The writers, historical media guys who did the photographs, the designers remind me that in a war, people, it's lives, and not just your men's lives, the enemy. And you know, they are the enemy. You must beat them. But it's one thing to do that, and another to... How old's that kid? 14? We don't really have a choice here, so we have to go forward. Now, I hope they keep surrendering like they're doing. But that puts things in perspective, doesn't it? The once invulnerable Wehrmacht, the German army, I thought they'd be taller. Well, I'm not really thinking funny here as a dad. Has it really come to this? And that's what I'm thinking. After 6 years of war, has the vaunted German army finally reached its limits? It would appear so. No one drafts children because they're winning. The prisoners head to the rear under guard. For them, this war is over. Nice job in this photo, guys. Look at the guy in the background. And this kid. Wow. Okay. Squad surrenders. Good. Good. Oh, and I'm in a house. I'd missed that was house terrain. You can see him surrendering. That's good. Okay. I'm glad for these children. This war is over. And in a better, next version of the game, you know, you should probably have to detail men and lose some of your squad to move the prisoners. But you can't get everything done. I've been clever. I pressed. I'm out of orders here. And I don't like... Well, the leader's by himself. I've got 2 squads over here. I'd like to change my facing before I stop so that I don't get flanked. That's always free. There we go. Good. Got to think about what the enemy is going to do, not just you. Do I have any more? I should have a few. Oh, I used all. See, another thing. I've always a sort of limited economy of orders. I had 5 orders for Dearborn, quite a bit, but I used them all up. Doing all this clever stuff out here, bolstering, assaulting, doing repeated assaults. It's going well, but Dearborn's spent. Now, probably some of you might remember, I could use a captain here, my kingpin, right? Not only to go in there and help, but just to activate the rest of Dearborn's platoon. I'm tempted not to because I want those orders for later. Oh, gosh, I forgot. I used them up earlier. All right, I have a choice. I didn't activate these guys. So the critique I would give myself here, effective. I've pushed the initiative. I've pushed the attack. On the other hand, I've got Dearborn's platoon disorganized. 2 of his squads are really not in any position to do anything useful. Luckily, I have Wilson over here. I have Thompson coming up. So, I think with Wilson there, I'm going to be able to handle the situation. But I'm also seeing this 59 minutes in. I'd love to keep playing with you guys, but I hope you got a taste. This is a scenario that allows you to see running a company. You've got these lieutenants. You've got each of them with their own platoon. You've got to think about pushing the attack, keeping the men in quality. I didn't do any rallying yet, but let me do that on, well, I would. On Wilson's turn, I'd rally here maybe to get his platoon organized, but maybe I should wait. Maybe I should press the attack, clear this area, and then rest and rally. But that's always tough. So one of the things that the historical gamer said while I was playing is, you really like getting that sense of how your force becomes disorganized as you move forward, which it did in war. Like at Fredericksburg in Civil War, the Unions got trapped on the hillside under the Confederate guns and men on the stone walls at the top of the hills. It was brutal, but they just had to hang on till the end of the day, creep away in the night. So you've got to balance pushing, keeping the momentum, the morale going up, rallying, organize. When do you pause? When do you keep the pace? I see I'm disappearing off the camera. Camera's not being clever. I apologize. There we go. Okay, I turned a little clever thing today to center me. I hope it's been working. I haven't been looking. But I've got an intact Dearborn's moving up in an organized way outside the minefields. I've got Wilson over there, pretty good shape. I've got Stern with the machine guns. I feel pretty good. I think this is going the right direction. Man, I love this art. Just looking at it. I do try to say what I mean. I'm not just trying to plug the game. These are my reactions. I look like I left some troops over here. I'm going to stop in a second. The mortar. And, 2 bazookas. Yeah, well, I don't need them right now. Okay, I should bring them up at some point. Feel good. I might play this later myself. And what's he going to do? Problem is, you don't push the attack, you may come over and rally troops too, right? And keep himself going. Interesting situation, only 2 turns in. Thank you for watching. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have. I hope you've gotten some sense of the design decisions and that you will have a leadership game here. Emotional and moral situations, but also command and control. How do you keep these troops organized? How do you move them cohesively? When do you use up those orders? If I were to take one more thing away as you, always pay attention to those orders. How are they being spent? Because you can see, I was trying to play it carefully, and yet I was getting caught and running out of momentum. How will I spend my limited amount of money in these situations, so to speak, game-wise? All right, thank you. Help us keep going. I'm not saying we're doing everything right. That's for damn sure we're not. But we're trying. We want to get better. We've taken a lot of feedback from many playtesters. If you all support us, if you are generous enough to get the game, that will allow us to do future campaigns. We plan to do more than U.S. campaigns. In fact, we've got one in the works right now, but I should probably shut my mouth. So, thank you guys. Cheers.